For me or on me? That is the question. So I was out this today, honestly. I love getting out and getting around, blah, 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 multiple sclerosis. Don't like just staying in the house doing nothing. So I got out today and I got the long story short, I caught the bus from my barber. Yeah, I got a haircut. Yeah, huh? From my barber to downtown Cleveland because it was just one bus. Because I wanted to go to a specific restaurant that was in Cleveland Square, is what it's called, Rebowl, and it's the only restaurant in Cleveland Square. Finding it was not easy because, well, one, it was extremely cold because, Cleveland, and Cleveland, almost winter, almost. And two, I wasn't exactly sure where it was because I caught the bus, right? I didn't take an Uber directly there and just get out and be like, oh, I'm here. I wanted to take the bus. I like taking the bus when I can. Anyway, on me or for me? Right, that's what this is about. For me or on me? On me. Mm. So, in kind of struggling in the extreme cold, trying to find my way to this restaurant, I it okay. So anybody who ever wants to go there, FYI, Rebowl, the restaurant, is on the northwest corner. Nope, no, no, no. Okay, so the southern part of Cleveland Square, it's on the northwest corner of the southern part of Cleveland Square. FYI. So, in trying to get there, I was like, the bus let me out, and I was like, "Do you know where Rebol Restaurant is? Rebol?" And he was like, "No." And Cleveland people, generally speaking, and specifically speaking about Cleveland public transit people, are generally very good with directions to different places, right? And but in this case, I get it. They can't know every single thing about every single thing. It's a small restaurant, and I was. It looked like it was in this building, but this building was on top of some steps, right? And I currently use a walker, right? On top of many steps. So I was like, well, they have to have a ramp somewhere. Somewhere. And it just. Anyway, as I was walking and working to get around, and I walk in my walker, and it's cold, so particularly cold. I have some gloves, and I'll tell you all about my gloves in a moment. Got some goodies. But anyway, I I wasn't as freezing as I could have been without the gloves, but I was still cold and sort of moving slowly as a result. And these people, how many minutes? I don't see how many minutes it is. Oh, 4. Well, that's not too much. It's a lot, but it's not too much. Huh. These two guys came up to me, and I really don't care for when people come up to me because normally, often, particularly me being a dude in a walker in the cold, people think I'm homeless. So they'll approach me and be like, and I want to say people do things with the best of intentions in their heart. It's just bothersome though. So I try to, when I see out of my peripheral somebody walking up, I'll try to just be like, oh okay, I'm just walking, just, and they'll like make it a point to like jump in front of me. Hi, oh my gosh, do you need some help? Are you homeless? Please. And I'm not saying please like I'm so far above homelessness. I just don't like that assumption. I don't like receiving that assumption from people. Anyway, but these two guys came up to me and they did that exact same, I almost cussed, that exact same thing that people do where it's like I'm walking, trying to, because I see them in my peripheral and I'm like, okay, just keep going. Just keep minding your own business, okay? And just keep going. They'll walk away. But, you know, there have been times in my life that I've been able to walk much faster than I currently walk at the moment. I'll get back there though. I'll get back there. Anyway, so what they did that thing where they pop up right in front of me and like, hey, you know, hey, let's stop you and talk to you. And they don't know. They don't know, but it's like I'm already using a lot of my strength holding myself up on my walker and walking. So standing and talking to them is it, it it's not always my favorite thing to do. So these guys came up to me in my face like, "Hey, I want to pray for you. Can I pray for you?" And they I smiled and I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And actually, though, because I was trying to find that restaurant, so I was like, yeah, sure, absolutely, thanks. But is the restaurant at the top of these steps here? And is there a walkway on the other side, perhaps? And the guy just totally not. Sometimes cussing is acceptable, right? But I've made it past it, so I won't. But the guy was like, instead of listening to my question, because they were just there to pray for me. That was it. They weren't there to pay any attention to any of my requests at all. They were just there to pray for me. And his response was, "Yeah, it's right on the other side." Uh huh. And I'm like, okay, cool. And but the other guy was like, yeah, but I want to pray for you. And I was like, okay, thanks. And they prayed for me in Jesus' name. And they prayed and prayed. And I was like, okay, all right. Well, thank you all very much. Thank you. And, you know, I was like, I received the positivity that you're sending. I received the positivity within what you're saying to me. And thank you very much. And because I am a Christian, right? I am. Eh, And anyway, but, I went ahead and I confirmed. I was like, so you're saying there's a walkway on the other side that goes up to the restaurant here? The guy was like, yeah, whatever. And Well, I can't complain about the second set of people that I came across. But the second set of people, I decided, okay, well, if it's upstairs, up these steps, because I see a lot of people going in and out, I'll just grab my walker and sort of make my way up the steps. It's not easy, but I think I can do it. And as I was doing it, somebody came downstairs, a kind guy, a good Samaritan. And he was like, "Do you want me to help you bring your walker upstairs?" And I was like, "Yes, thank you very much." And he brought my walker upstairs. And I don't remember the rest, but for but it came up that that's right. I explicitly asked them to confirm what my Christian brethren said to me, that the Rebo restaurant was at the top of those effing steps, right? And I was like, the restaurant's at the top of these steps, right? And the guy was like, no, that's a museum. It was the guy and his wife. He's like, no, that's a museum. And I was like, really? So I just didn't know where the restaurant was, and I was trying to. I said, well, maybe. I said, oh, okay. Well, could we bring my walker back downstairs, and I'll just continue on my way? And I continued around the very long block. The very long part of the block, and there was never, ever, ever a walkway going upstairs, right? There are only steps, only steps, only steps. So, the good, huh? It's interesting. That is like the story of the Good Samaritan versus the Good Christian. That wasn't really that good. And but there was no walkway going up the steps anyway, even though that wasn't the place that I was trying to go. And I was like, a museum, really? So I was just trying to find my way, and there was never a walkway ever, like the guy who prayed for me said, the guy who prayed for my healing and all of that in Jesus' name, right? That guy who promised, he said it. There was no walkway there, and the Good Samaritan couple, and that's what I'll call them. They were like, no, that's a museum. And I called Rebowl, and I guess it was just work to try to find. Ultimately, I was able to say, yeah, in circling this long thing that nobody was able to identify except for them, because it was a museum. They were right. The Good Samaritans were right. It was a museum. But nobody knew where I was. Ultimately, I, I I called Rebold twice. The first time it was like, I don't know. I mean, you just drive your car and just park over there and just come up here and you'll be in. And it's like, I didn't drive. I took the bus. And I honestly, I didn't want to speak too much on that because I didn't want it to become oh, you're catching the bus. Are you looking for a handout, begging for food, begging us to give you something for free? No. Anyway, but ultimately, I was able the second time that I called to really try to get directions because I had made it around the full museum, no walkway upstairs, nothing, and I had made it all the way around just about in the freezing cold, literally freezing cold. This is Cleveland. This is Cleveland, you guys. I live in Cleveland, and in the freezing cold, and One good thing about my rollator walker is that it comes with a seat. So wherever I go, I will have a seat nearby. I'll be able to sit nearby, not a problem, right? How many minutes? 15, way too much. Anyway, but eventually I was able to name a landmark that the woman in Rebol identified with. I was like, yeah, I see the ice skating rink and the CLE sign. And she's like, yeah, we're right across from the CLE sign. But in my vision, what I had seen, I'm like, the ice skating rink is the last thing on the corner here. Like, what are you talking about? But it is right on the other side of the ice skating rink without going across the street. It looks like a little pavilion, but it's a restaurant, an indoor restaurant. It's not a pavilion, but it looks like a temporary set. Anyway, what I wanted to say as well. So that guy, the guy who prayed for me, wasn't being helpful at all. Like he didn't really care. But I actually once I went to Rebowl, ate my food. Oh my gosh, that food is good. I will be returning. Yes. And I then made my way to the bus stop and I met an actual homeless man who also used a walker. And it was so interesting because it's like we got into a conversation, and I guess maybe he thought I was homeless too. Like, I don't know. But he was just really, really nice. And he also was like, hey, I have some toothpaste here. Do you want some toothpaste? Oh my gosh, like just saying that almost made me cry right now. But yeah, like that was wow. Like here he was homeless, needing homeless and in need. And in spite of all of that, he was like, hey, I have some extra toothpaste and stuff. And no, it wasn't, haha, not a joke like that. He was just naming things that he had. He's like, I have some toothpaste if you need some, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the story that Jesus Christ told, Jesus Christ told in the Bible where it's not a scone. A scone is a biscuit, a type of biscuit. But the poor woman who denarii, I think it is, who donated 2 denarii to the church, and a church where people were giving mounds of money, mounds of valuables, and she just gave the two uh that small measure of money, that small measure of money. And Jesus Christ was like, she gave more than anybody else who's given these huge sums of finances. And I don't, I, okay. So yeah, I'll say huge sums of money, but we know in biblical days it wasn't like paper money, you know. But anyway, Jesus Christ explained that she gave more than all of those people. So like this guy, the homeless guy who also used a walker, his offering me his toothpaste was like giving more than anyway. Anyway, it's funny how that works, and it's also funny how Bible stories can apply to life in so many ways, so many ways. Particularly when you're oh, and I also wanted to say this about the guy who's like talking about wanting to pray for me. It's, and I'll also mention that in a minute. But I have to wonder, like, when people do that, like, are you doing it for the sake of the other person's benefit, like trying to benefit the other person, or are you trying to do it because it benefits you somehow? Like, for you to just sit and take our time and talk about all the things that you assume you don't effing know me. So, but just to sit and talk about the things that you assume are wrong with me and to talk about, well, heal him, and all of that. Are you doing that for me or are you doing that for yourself? Mm. And I remember years ago at this point, a couple of years ago, like hashtag Verse TV is a few years old now. Um, 2019, the beginning of 2019. So yeah, we're a few years old now. 2019, 2020, 2021, 20. Oh my gosh. We are good. Yeah, we're a number of years old at this point. And back in the day with Chris, when Chris was on the show, we had a topic talking about people coming up to you and asking to pray for you. And one thing that Chris said that I was like, that's so wise. She was like, don't come up and pray for me. Don't come up, don't ask me to pray for me. Because I don't know if you're praying for me or praying on me. And it's like, yeah. Anyway, 21 minutes is way too long for this. So if you enjoy it, watch it all, and you'll actually get the point of the video that I made at the very end. But if you don't have the time, then we don't have the time. Talk to you later, social media family. Peace. And versetv.com always live every single Monday at 9:35 p.m. Live streaming on YouTube and Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. Yeah. But the live stream actually also goes to our website, versetv.com. And you can live stream us from the website. Yay! Anyway, talk to y'all later, social media family. Peace. versetv.com. Stay blessed. Good night.